an local action. Okay, you will be vaccinated locally, but you can save globally, right? And another thing was vaccination is benefit not to the individual, but also to the community level. See, you have heard about these words very familiarly, that about primary contact, secondary contact during this COVID. Okay, so what are these contacts? So when a person is infected, he will be having a primary contact, a secondary contact, means this is a mode of spread. Okay, so when you are vaccinated, you can stop this mode of spread. So only we are telling its benefit is on community level. Okay, so that is another important aspect of vaccination. And the next important aspect of vaccination is vaccination will save the next generations. See, all the next generations may not know about COVID. They may not experience COVID. Why? Because if every person was vaccinated, there is no chance for the next generation to get infected with the coronavirus. Okay, so vaccination will save next generation. And another important aspect about this is vaccination will eradicate the disease. Okay, see, drugs can only treat the disease. Again, you may get the disease, but here vaccination will completely eradicate the disease. The next one is vaccination is very cost minimum. Okay, so vaccination is cheaper than treatment. You go all over India and you can ask any people which is cheaper, whether treatment or vaccination. Okay, even treating for small fever or cough is very costly than getting a vaccination. Most of the vaccinations were free. Okay, so it is very cheaper to get vaccinated than treatment. Okay, so this vaccination is very, very important, right? Now you can look into the PPT. Okay, so we have just discussed the first point in brief. Yesterday we are in detail. Today I have just covered that about why vaccination is important. Okay, now we will highlight on history of vaccination. Okay, today's study will today webinar will be on history of vaccination. Okay, see, vaccination did not start in a just one go. Okay, it has evolved. Okay, it is a process evolved from so many years. Okay, from so many years, and it has taken into different forms. Okay, and finally vaccination came. Okay, so today we will discuss how the vaccination word was introduced, how it was coined, who coined that. Okay, what the ancient people did for vaccination. Okay, what the Indians practiced about vaccination. You know that even in some Indian scriptures, it is mentioned about vaccination. Okay, so I will bring into your notice what are these and how this has been noted. Okay, but see, going into that, you should know very how vaccination was evolved. So you can see the third point. See, in the beginning, okay, vaccination was called with another name. It is called inoculation, right? The first it was inoculation, then it started into virulation, and then vaccination came. Okay, this was how the vaccination evolved. So you should remember these three words. Okay, inoculation and virulation, and then vaccination, right? Okay, ma'am, can I have next slide? Yeah, ma'am, can I have slide number 11? Yeah, so history of vaccination is started with inoculation. virulation, and vaccination. Clear? So people should be very aware about this. So how an vaccination program started means it started with inoculation, virulation, and then vaccination. Correct? Okay, right. So fine. We will discuss what is inoculation, okay, what is virulation, and what is vaccination. See, all these come under same category, but the methods and the process they followed are different. Okay, all these are used to treat infectious disease only. All these are used to improve your immunity only, right? But they were done in different methods by different people. Okay, so first in ancient period, in 12th century and 11th century, no one know about this vaccination, okay, or inoculation. But see what happened, once there was a Chinese king, okay, the Chinese king was very badly infected with smallpox. Okay, so please remember this disease, smallpox. Now it was eradicated, but smallpox is very dangerous. Okay,
Okay.
so this
So
smallpox,
the smallpox,
yeah, why? Okay, smallpox was very dangerous. See, smallpox
Excuse me,
has,
sir.
ma'am. Yes.
Is class మధ్యలో ఎవరు మైక్ అన్మ్యూట్ చేసి మాట్లాడొద్దు. After the class you can ask any queries. Please.
It's not a
mute your
question,
mic.
ma'am. 2 times వినిపిస్తుంది మ్యామ్ సార్ వాయిస్ మాకు.
No, that is maybe your
అది మీ
network issue.
నెట్వర్క్ ఇష్యూ అమ్మా, మీ నెట్వర్క్ ఇష్యూ. చెక్ నెట్వర్క్.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah, tell me.
Sir, can we have the name once again, please, sir?
Which name?
Who was infected by smallpox? May I know
Yeah,
the
he was
person
a
name?
Chinese
Sir,
I did not
not
tell
clearly,
any name.
not
He
clearly
was a
audible, sir.
Chinese emperor. He
మీ
was
వాయిస్
okay,
కొంచెం
sir.
క్లారిటీ
he was
లేదు,
a Chinese
కొంచెం
emperor.
నెట్వర్క్ చెక్ చేసుకోండి.
I
అమ్మా
did
మీకు
not
ఏమన్నా
mention any
డౌట్
name.
వస్తే క్లాస్
He was just a
మధ్యలో
Chinese
1
emperor.
minute.
Okay, you can put yes, madam. You discuss.
అమ్మా మీకు ఏమన్నా డౌట్స్ వస్తే రాసుకుని at the end of the section you can ask. ఓకే
Okay, ma'am.
ఓకే. ఎవరు అన్మ్యూట్ చేయొద్దు మీ మైక్ ని, అలాగే మీ కెమెరాస్ కూడా ఆన్ చేయొద్దు ప్లీజ్.
Okay, ma'am.
డిస్టర్బెన్స్
Sure, ma'am.
అవుతుంది. Sir, you
Yeah,
can
okay, madam.
continue.
Please go into next slide. Go to next slide.
అందరికి లాస్ట్ అండ్ ఫైనల్ వార్నింగ్, ఎవరైనా మైక్ ని ఆన్ చేసినా కెమెరా ఆన్ చేసినా మళ్ళీ మీటింగ్ కి అటెండ్ అవ్వకుండా చేస్తాను, ముందే చెప్తున్నాను. నేను సార్ తప్పితే ఎవరు మాట్లాడటానికి వద్దు అట్ ద ఎండ్ ఆఫ్ ద సెక్షన్. ఒక టైం ఇస్తాము. సుప్రియ, రమ్య, ప్లీజ్ మ్యూట్ యువర్ మైక్.
Yes, ma'am. Can I go on? Yeah. Okay. The first process was inoculation. Okay. So this inoculation was first practiced in China. Okay. So Wang Dong, this was an Chinese emperor. He was the prime minister. And he was first suffered smallpox. Okay. And he was so worried about his family. Okay, so that his family will be infected by this. Okay, so what he did, he He was so worried about his family, and he called all the physicians who are present in his kingdom and asked them to do something for his family. Okay, since he was a prime minister and the king, all the physicians over his emperor were right at him, and they discussed about this infectious, dangerous disease called as smallpox. Okay, and see, smallpox was an social taboo at this time. Okay, why? Because when you get smallpox, what happens? This smallpox will infect your skin, and you will get a lesions on the skin. Okay, big lesions will be on the skin, and see, this will mainly affect the softer tissues. Okay, and peripherally on your hands, arms, on your face, there will be big lesions. Okay, which are filled with pus, and the people will lose their skin structure. Okay, and it will be very awkward to see. So this was very social taboo, and people don't even like to see the face of the infected person. So the prime minister was very worried. Wang Dong, this prime, he was okay. He belongs to, and he was a Chinese emperor, and he belongs to 9th and 10th century. Okay, okay. This was officially recorded now. See, many people say before also many used inoculation, but this inoculation, what this emperor used, was officially recorded and documented. Document was there. Okay, so I'm giving you only the official documentation provided information, right? So this was the first emperor. Okay, so these physicians who are in his kingdom, they came out with an idea. Okay, what is that? They have tested many tests and they want to practice. Okay, so what they did, they collected the samples of this smallpox virus. Okay, they don't know even it was caused by virus or bacteria. This advanced knowledge was not there with him, but they thought that something present in these lesions, or what are the lesions they are getting on the body, something was present in them, and they are only the mischief of the disease. So what they started, so what they have taken the pus. Okay, they have taken the pus from the lesions of the infected person, and they have kept this in a bottle, and they have dried for so many days. Okay, after drying, they made it into a powder. Clear? So I will explain the process again. First, we will learn about its definition. Okay, so it is a process of introducing an infectious agents into the nose and absorptive parts of the skin. Okay, so why they have done this? They have done this to improve the immunity. Okay, so here two things you have to learn in this inoculation process. One is that they have used the same infective agent. Okay, and they used to do this to induce the immunity. Okay, these two ideas they're having. They're having an idea that in inoculation, when in 9th century, around 9th century, people are having this idea. Okay, what is that? So inoculation can be done. From the infected person, they collect the scraps, okay, and the samples, and this can be given to an healthy person so that he may not get the disease. This idea was there. They don't know what is immunity, what is B cell, T cells, these and all, they don't know. But this simply, it was a practice. And moreover, see, this was practiced only by the rich people and highly professional physicians. Okay, and the common layman doesn't know anything about inoculation. Only this was a priestly practice and then princely practice. Only the priest and the prince were available with inoculation. Okay, so the evidence indicate that smallpox inoculation was practiced in China around AD, 1000 AD. And see, next, the two countries which are very prominent in doing this was Chinese and Indians. Okay, so the Western world doesn't know anything about inoculation. Clear? Only the countries in the Asia, China, okay, Turkey and India, only the mid-Asian countries, these people only know about inoculation. See, at this time, smallpox was even there in the European countries and many millions were dying, but they were not with this inoculation method. Only the Chinese and Indians started. Okay. And they started this with the smallpox. Okay. Can I have next slide, man? So how this inoculation is practiced, the method, how this inoculation is practiced. Okay, see, Chinese used this in a different method, and Americans and Indians use this in different method. See, slowly when coming into 16th century, what happened? Slowly the practice of inoculation had spreaded into the European countries. Okay, many people tell that this practice was taken to the European countries by travelers. Okay, and they also highlight one of the queen. Okay, so queen is there. This queen asked his travelers to bring this practice to the Europe also. Okay, so mainly because of this queen, but there was not evident proof. Okay, but by it has been started in 9th century, 9th century or 900 century or 1000th century, but it went into European countries to 15th century. Okay, by different travelers. Okay, and see this coming into the method, how this inoculation was done. So inoculation was done by Chinese. By this method is called insufflation. Okay, so you can see the image there. What they will do, they will take the scraps or they will take the samples, they will take the mucus and the pus from the lesions and they will grind it. Okay, they will grind it and make it to a powder and they will store it for 2 to 3 months. Okay, so that it will become less virulent. Okay, they doesn't know about virulence, but they have done it. Okay, thinking that the virulence may decrease. So they have kept it for 2 to 3 months. Okay, slowly what happened? The infection range is subsided and it has become an weaker one. Okay, after that they took this powder and they used to blow into the nostrils. Okay, so see, you can see there is a big pipe is taken and that person is blowing that powder into the chain. And see, smallpox was mainly infected to the children. These were the first victims of smallpox. Okay, so many Chinese emperor sons has died because of this. Okay, so at the time every princely child, okay, is inoculated in 12th and 13th and 15th century. Okay, so that he may die. Okay, so many kingdoms has been emptied because of smallpox, because there is no successor has died because of smallpox. So all these royal families, they have introduced this inoculation process and Chinese practiced it as insufflation. Okay, but how these Indians and Europeans start doing this? They started this with a needle. Okay, they did not name it separately, they just kept it as inoculation only. Okay, so European and Americans tend to inoculate through a puncture in the skin. Okay, what these fellows will do, they will go to the infected person and they will take a long pricking needle and they will put this needle into the wounds of the infected person and they will bring that and they will just rub it over their skins, okay, ruptured skins, or they will slowly induce it into their dermis layer. Okay, since they are putting in the less quantity in a small area, so the virulence of this substance also will be very less. Okay, so there are two accounts of inoculation. This is one method. Chinese and Indians practice this insufflation. This pricking needle method was practiced by the Europeans. Okay, so these two methods, and slowly this has spread to the inoculation has spread to whole European countries, right? By 17th and 18th century, it has spread to European countries. Okay, and the next practice was virulation. Okay, so what is this virulation? What is virulation means? The name, it is same like inoculation only, but they have changed this name in the Europe into virulation. Why? Because smallpox. Okay, the scientific name of smallpox is Verulia. Okay, so since they are inoculating with the same smallpox matter, they named, these Europeans named inoculation into virulation. Okay, so the ancient practice of virulation dates back into Chinese practice only, but they call it as inoculation. But the Western countries called this technique as virulation. Virulation. Why? Because since they are virulating, or since they are getting the material from smallpox virus, so only they kept that smallpox name to it. Okay, so they call this process as virulation. Okay, and see, coming into inoculation and virulation, this process was a successful one. Okay, they are successful one, but see, coming to their practice, okay, practice was not available. There are disadvantages. What are the disadvantages means? So you can see the inoculation. See, that is a bottle, how the powder is. I told they will store the powder in the bottle. No, you can just see in the diagram. Okay, see, this was a very costly one. Only the princely and priestly can only afford this. Common people cannot buy this. Okay, and now vaccination was free. Okay, WHO, thank God, all vaccinations were free. And if you want to pay, means you can pay only the minimum cost. But it was not the scenario in the 15th century. So actually, they used to call this as pops. Okay, the bottles as pops of smallpox. And you know, one other interesting thing, some people used to beg, okay, the persons of infected persons clothes. They will go to their home and they will take their clothes and they will store this cloth in some herbal preparations for 1 or 2 months. Okay, so the virus load will be decreased, the infection range will be decreased, and after that these people used to wear that. So people assume that the infection range is decreased and people will not get this, but that was not an accurate method, but it was in practice. Okay, the successful methods were inoculation, virulation. Inoculation and virulation was same, the methods were same, but in Western world they call it as virulation, since they named it after smallpox. In Chinese and India, in mid Asia, we called it as virulation. Okay, so you can see the slide. So inoculation in American Republic. So you can see the notice there. Okay, so inoculation become very famous, and see how this inoculation has saved many lives. Okay, you can see that this is an old notice in 1981. Okay, and where they are ordering every person should get inoculated. Now how they are, government is telling, please go and vaccinate. At the time, the American Republic asked their soldiers and everyone to get inoculated. Okay, so you see, in the European countries, many soldiers died because of smallpox. Millions died of smallpox, and luckily at the time this inoculation was introduced, and many regiments of the battle were saved because of inoculation. And in mid 18th, the inoculation became a very interesting practice in the Western countries, and it has been proved results were good, but there was 2 to 3% of mortality rate. Okay, see, actually vaccine should be safe, but here if the 20 people were infected, 2 among them were being died in inoculation. Okay, that was one drawback with inoculation, but there was no way. Okay, the only method people know at that era was inoculation, and with the inoculation and vaccination, many lives have been saved. Okay, so now you may get a doubt. So what is the difference between this inoculation and vaccination, right? Yeah. So you can be clear about vaccination or inoculation. Okay, so these are 2 different things. Okay, now I told that for inoculation there was an disadvantages. Okay, in vaccination or inoculation, there are a lot of disadvantages where mortality rate is high. Why? Because see, they are putting the same infectious agents or virus or bacteria directly. Okay, they doesn't know whether it is dead one or attenuated one or ineffective one. So they are just trying a trial and error method. Okay, so inoculation was just a trial and error method. Luckily, it has been successful for many people. Okay, but there was no exact accuracy in this process. And see, another thing was many people consider this practice an unholy. Okay, there was a big social stigma on this. Okay, the disease itself was a social stigma, and collecting the scraps, collecting the pus from the person, collecting the clothes from the infected person. This was not an ethical process, and this was not allowed by many, and this was not allowed by many communities also. Only few communities followed this. Okay, many communities even did not follow this vaccination or inoculation method. Why? Because they thought this was because of an unholy practice. Okay, and see, there was, you know, that in mid Asia mainly the diseases are mainly named after some god and goddesses. Okay, since the god is very angry, అమ్మవారు ఇవన్నీ మీకు తెలుసు కదా. Since they will speak like that, since the god was very angry, he is given that. Okay, and people think that that is a curse to that person. Why we should take that curse onto us? Okay, so this was an social stigma where this practice was not allowed by many people. Okay, and what was the main difference in this coming into the methodology? Main difference is immunization. They are directly use the virus in inoculation, whereas in vaccination there will be a dead virus or non-functioning virus. Okay, but see, the main aim or the goal of both the process was same. Okay, it was enhancing the immunity, but we are trying there with the direct virus in small quantities. Here we are trying it in vaccination. We are trying with a dead one and non-functional one or an attenuated, right? So inoculation, again, I'm saying inoculation is having some mortality rate. Okay, it is around 3 to 4%. Yeah. Okay, you can see here the main big differences. So definition. So vaccination is a method of immunization, where vaccination is also method of immunization, but here attenuated one we will admit. Here we will take direct the viral infection. So examples, it is for smallpox, it has been practiced. This has been DNA vaccines which are available nowadays. All are vaccinations. Okay, right? This is one difference where vaccination and vaccination lies. Okay. So next we can have next slide. So we will discuss about this smallpox. Okay. So now, see, anyone, can you tell me what is the cause of development of inoculation or vaccination? Smallpox. Okay. Since this disease was so deadly, people thought a remedy for it. Okay. If I am not exciting, I can tell you that smallpox has given an idea of inoculation, and which helped for the development of vaccination. Okay, so the smallpox was a killer. Now we called this coronavirus as pandemic. At the time, smallpox was called as epidemic. Okay, it was also pandemic, but people called it as epidemic. And see, millions of the people were dead. Okay, millions of people were dead because of this virus. Okay, and I will discuss a few things about this smallpox. Why? Because next we will discuss how vaccine was developed. Okay, how a vaccine and vaccination process was developed. This is mainly developed from the smallpox virus only. So we will have small knowledge of this smallpox virus, and then we will move into how vaccinations were developed. Okay, see, smallpox, it is an infectious and contagious disease. Okay, what are the causative agents? Is variola major and variola minor. Okay, these are the causative. These are two viruses which causes smallpox. Okay. Okay, why I'm telling this smallpox means, so it is a need of the hour. I'm telling how the vaccination has evolved. Okay, see, this vaccination did not evolve in a single day. Okay, millions has been dead. See, smallpox epidemic. So many people called it as the Great Plain Smallpox epidemic. Many people died in the European countries. See, many wars were also stopped because of the smallpox. Why, you know, why wars were stopped? There were no people to fight. Soldiers, before fighting only, they were dead with the virus. There were no even army. Two-thirds of the army was not emptied by the enemies, but it was emptied by the virus. Okay, virus emptied all the troops, not the enemy. Okay, so many people, many great people. Okay, in so many books, they has mentioned even Alexander and so many the Queen. Okay, and so many big people in their biographies around in 19th and 18th, 17th centuries, they have mentioned about the smallpox. See, now in the world, wherever any person you ask, the hot topic now is corona. Okay, corona. Same like in the 17th and 18th century, when you touch any person there, the main thing they used to talk about is smallpox. Okay, so this deadly disease gave an chance, we get and then privilege for the human mankind to think about a vaccination. Okay, this was where all started. This was the thing where all has started. The smallpox is killing millions, and many people have thought, how can we prevent this? And there came the idea of vaccination. Okay, inoculation they practiced, and it has evolved into vaccination. So you can see how this practice has been evolved. Okay, and you see, you know one thing, now you are hearing about the lockdown, quarantine. These are not new words. These are all the 17th and 18th century people, all of them, they know this quarantine, what is quarantine, what is lockdown. Okay, these are all things they know. Same situation was faced in the mid 16th, 17th, 18th century, and they came out with an wonderful idea called vaccination, and they have completely eradicated smallpox now. See, WHO has declared in 1990, there was no more smallpox in the world. Okay, so I'm assuring my friends, there won't be coronavirus. Why? Because we have started vaccination. This is the greatness of vaccination. Okay, see, you can see the impact of the smallpox virus. See, this has caused many. These were you can just go through this list. I'm not highlighting them. Okay, you can see in the 19th and 18th century. Okay, exploration by Great Britain introduced smallpox into Australia. See, mainly this is because of how this corona came. Same way, see, I'm doing a comparative study. Please understand that we are doing a comparative study between smallpox and now present coronavirus. Why? Because the need and the cure of this both was vaccination. So you should understand that. Okay, so this John had this one exploration by Great Britain, and then smallpox epidemic. These are all different. You can see in the 19th century, it killed around 50,000 soldiers. Okay, okay, I can have next slide. So hello, hello, madam, am I audible?
Yes, sir. You're
Yeah. Yeah, okay. So you can see on the clip, see, this is a quarantine for smallpox. See, John Adams, okay, he was a big revolutionist at the time, and what John Adams told was that smallpox was very dangerous. Okay, so this destroyed this smallpox has killed more soldiers than the enemies. Okay, this was his wonderful statement given by him. Okay, so by that we can understand how dangerous this disease was. Okay, John Adams told that this disease has killed more soldiers than the sword of the enemy. Okay, and see, at the time they came with different ideas like quarantine. See, quarantine was not a new term. It is used in the, you can look at the screen, it is used in the mid 17th and 18th century. So smallpox quarantines was practiced. Okay, So these and all are why I'm showing you these and all means this and all is the history how an vaccine was evolved. Okay, same you can correlate with the contemporary world now. See now same thing, quarantine is happening. Okay, you have all seen that how self quarantine happened, primary, secondary was traced. You know that WHO Tibble 3 formula, you know, no? What is Tibble 3 formula? Okay, testing, tracing, and treatment. It was very well executed. Okay, many people appreciated India for this. India has practiced in wave one this Tibble 3 formula. Okay, they will test, then they will trace, then they will treat. Okay, this was not a new idea. Okay, these are all were ideas which was evolved before because of smallpox, right? So smallpox quarantines were practiced, and then there were so many rules. Okay, there were so many acts that were brought at the time to eradicate the smallpox. Okay, at the time, see, this inoculation was not that famous. Okay, I told no, only the rich people can practice this inoculation, and they need a professional to do this. And see now, like there are no government hospitals, and these and all are not available at the time. There used to be only a few physicians, and they were available only to the king. Okay, common people are not that access to the health sectors at that time. Okay, so inoculation was not in the mass level. Okay, it never reached the mass level. It was only with the upper class. Okay, so you can see some acts were given here. So ships were not allowed. Okay, see then if the maintenance, okay, to the pets also from the animals. Okay, so pets they have given a notice how the pet should be raised. Okay, and see at the time the main means of transport was by shipping. Okay, at the time they used to not allow the smallpox persons into the infected persons into the ship up to 1 year. So these and all are the rules that are passed by England. Okay, England, see in the 17th and 18th century, most of the world was under the England. Colonization has happened at that time. Most of the world was under the influence of the England, and all its colonies has to pass these rules. Okay, you at the end of this webinar, I will be giving you this material. Okay, you can just go through it. Not now, at the end of the webinar, last day we will issue it. Okay, so you can see when I saw all these sections, these are now applicable to the COVID also. Okay, they are very similar. Okay, so why we are discussing this means today all we are doing a comparative study how the vaccines. So I am putting you into an track that you as an science students, you should know how the vaccine evolved. Okay, you should get the basic principle, or you should know how the time has made the people to check for a cure. Okay, or for the prevention, how this vaccination has evolved. Okay, so next slide. Yeah, so from by this today I will conclude here. Okay, and see only around 20% of the population available are getting inoculated. Okay, remaining were not inoculated. Why? Because it was a social taboo and what is available only to the rich people, and this practice cannot be done by everyone, and it is not safe also. Okay, why? Because they are not direct, they are taking direct virus, they are not taking attenuated virus. Okay, so this process was initially good but not a good one. Okay, so tomorrow webinar is very interesting. We will see how people moved from inoculation to vaccination. Okay, two main heroes were there who discovered vaccination. One person has discovered vaccination, another person has discovered vaccine. Okay, today the question is that please find out who are these two heroes. One person discovered, again I'm repeating, one person discovered the process of vaccination, another person invented the vaccination. I hope you know the difference between discovery and invention. Already ఉన్నదాన్ని కనిపెడితే discovery. Columbus discovered. Okay, Einstein invented bulb, like this. So one person has discovered vaccination, another person has invented the vaccine. Both were very remarkable persons in the vaccination. So tomorrow webinar we will see how this process has moved from inoculation to vaccination. Okay, fine. Okay, this is our for this day. Thank you. If you have any doubts, you can ask. You just raise the hand, madam will
Having
ping
any
you.
queries, please respond.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, tell me.
Sir, what is the size of coronaviral particle, sir?
So is a virus. Virus itself is a microorganism. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Virus itself is a microorganism. It is a microscopic one.
Yes, sir. What is the size of coronaviral particle?
Size. No, I don't have any idea. Should be seen by a microscope that you ultraviolet. I don't know. I doesn't have any knowledge about exactly size. Okay. See, size of the virus is not an important one. And the virulence of the virus was the important thing. We have to consider the how virulent and how dangerous was the virus and how fast it is replicating and transmitting. These are the key factors to be considered in the virus than the size. Okay, but I was not aware of the size. Okay, all these were as microorganisms. Right.
Thank you, sir.
Excuse me, sir.
Good evening.
Sir?
Yeah. You speak. I'm
Sir,
listening.
sir, Edward Jenner discovered vaccination, sir.
Yeah, good.
Am I right,
Okay.
sir?
Yeah, you're right. Exactly. Thanks for the answer. And tomorrow we will be finding excellent how Edward Jenner came. You know, Edward Jenner was also inoculated in the childhood. Okay. And how he found out the vaccination, how he moved from inoculation to vaccination, we will see in the next section. Don't miss it.
Hello, sir. Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening.
I'm facing some technical issues while joining the class.
Yeah.
And at the same time,